So they went unto Math, the son of Mathonwy. Lord, said Gwydion, I have heard that there have come to the south some beasts, such as were never known in this island before. What are they called? He asked. Pigs, Lord. And what kind of animals are they? They're small animals, and their flesh is better than the flesh of oxen. They're small then, and they change their names. Swine are they now called. Who owns them? Pryderi, the son of Pwyll. They were sent him from Annwn by Caran, the king of Annwn, and still they keep that name, half hog, half pig. Verily, asked he, and by what means may they be obtained from him? I will go, Lord, as one of 12, in the guise of bards, to seek the swine. But it may be that he will refuse you, said he. My journey will not be evil, Lord, said he. I will not come back without the swine. Gladly, said he. Go thou forward. Hello, I am Riele, and today I would like to share this pastel painting process with you while talking some otherworldly nonsense. This is one of the first passages of the fourth branch of the Mabinogi, or Math, son of Mathonwy, translated by Lady Charlotte Guest. Victorian censorship notwithstanding, this will suffice to prove that pigs are wonderful creatures from the other world. So I could not resist painting the sow wandering above the sea of fog when a host of a podcast I greatly admire asks me whether I did commissions. The thing is, I did not up to that point. I barely have time to work on my own projects, I still have a day job that pays me better than I could ever wish for, and frankly, I never wanted to please customers. But this project was simple yet interesting for me personally. Here, the idea was to repaint a shot that was taken during my client's vacation in Georgia. While the shot itself is very well composed, the sky was a bit overexposed. If you have seen my work before, you can guess that I am not a huge fan of blue skies and green grass, but it's nice to challenge yourself every once in a while. I'm using Earthberry pastels here because they can easily be applied in a patchy manner, allowing intermittent color to mix optically. This is probably the greatest lesson we can learn from the Impressionists that is applicable to pretty much any style. If we look at the clear sky, it seems very smooth and awfully saturated, and while it can be painted as such, I find it more interesting to create an impression of bright blue sky using mostly dull colors. Here I apply bright blues and much duller blue-grays of matching tonal values and blend them first to create the underpainting. Later I go back to bright blues and apply them very lightly. This less saturated underpainting allows them to stand out so much more and create the sensory overload effect that you can get on a very sunny day, especially high in the mountains. Also, optical mixing at this stage makes it irrelevant that I don't have the perfect tone for every piece of the sky. Some colors are a bit too green, some are too violet, but when averaged, they create a realistic impression. The same process goes into the hill. I don't find bright saturated greens appealing even in isolation, and when used for grass or foliage they often look unnatural even if the color is perfectly matched. Here I make the lighter greens more on the yellow side, the darker ones are technically blues and sometimes browns, the very dark greens turn into purples. I add some cool green, almost turquoise highlights in the end to suggest that the grass is fresh and juicy, not withered. The pig is difficult and simple at the same time. There is a thin, warm rim light that accentuates the figure, but most of it catches diffuse ambient light. So I use desaturated purples, oranges, blues and greens to build the shape. The ambient light is mainly blue because it comes from the sky, so some blues have to make it to the pig's fur. Greens are especially important because the pig is surrounded by a large green shape of the hill. So the light hitting the grass will inevitably reflect and illuminate the pig. When I paint the mountains in the background, I have to be very aware of the aerial perspective. Nothing far away should have stronger contrast than the foreground, and that is tricky as these trees on the right are so much darker than anything in the foreground. Still, I added some fog to the valley. By the way, the first time I saw Der Wanderer über dem Nebelmeer in Hamburger Kunsthalle, I could not stop laughing. In most reproductions, you see the man in a dark outfit with maybe a hint of green, looking over an awfully romantic landscape. And everything is dead serious. But in reality, his clothes are of a very saturated green color, making him look like some sort of leprechaun. Now, back in the day, color in men's fashion was perceived differently from today. Color was something coveted, and only the very wealthy could afford clothes dyed in bright colors. Actually, his outfit is an Alldeutsche Tracht, following a fashion trend that many Germans adopted after the Napoleonic Wars as part of a national upheaval. This outfit drew inspiration from the age of Martin Luther and what was perceived to be characteristically German elements in clothing. So let's pretend that I actually got Friedrich's message and my nervous laughter was caused by sleep deprivation. With this, I'd like to wrap up and order the new translation of the Mabinogion by Professor Sheena Davis. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.